The ceremonial hall fell silent as Queen Zalthera's compound eyes fixed on the small human standing before her throne. The child, no more than 12 solar cycles by human measure, had just requested permission to enter the trial of blades. Around them, representatives from 47 species stood frozen, their various breathing apparatus hissing in collective shock. "Impossible," Chancellor Vreen whispered, his crystalline body refracting the chamber's light into nervous patterns. The trial was sacred. Ancient. Only those species whose biology allowed the proper grip, stance, and neural coordination had ever qualified. In 10,000 years, only the Kreshtar, the Velnar, and Thari had produced worthy candidates. Even then, only 17 warriors total had survived it. No human had ever attempted the trial. No human should even know of it. The girl stood motionless, her dark eyes meeting the Queen's gaze without flinching. She wore a simple gray jumpsuit marked with the insignia of Earth's Colonial Survey Corps, a civilian outfit. No armor. No weapons. Her hands hung relaxed at her sides, but Zalthera noticed the calluses on her palms, the slight asymmetry in her shoulder muscles that suggested years of specific training. "State your name," Zalthera commanded, her vocal chambers producing frequencies that made the human's primitive translation devices struggle. "Kira Chin. Junior Survey Technician assigned to the diplomatic vessel Horizon's Promise. You understand what you request?" "Yes, Your Majesty." Zalthera's primary guard, Commander Thex, shifted his stance, a movement so subtle only those trained in Kreshtar body language would notice it. A warning. The trial had broken warriors with decades of combat experience. It had killed seasoned generals. The human child would die within the first challenge. "The trial requires dual wielding," Zalthera said, her tone carefully neutral. "2 blades. Simultaneously. With complete independence of movement and purpose." "I know. Your species lacks the neural pathways. Human brain structure does not support the divided concentration required. You will fail." "Maybe." The word hung in the air. Not denial. Not arrogance. Simple acknowledgement of possibility. Zalthera felt her thorax tighten with an emotion she couldn't name. The girl should be terrified. She should be requesting withdrawal, claiming misunderstanding, invoking diplomatic immunity. Instead, she stood like bedrock waiting. "Why?" Zalthera asked. For the first time, something flickered in Kira's expression. Pain. Old and deep. 3 months ago, the survey ship Morning Star was attacked by Velnar raiders near the disputed territories. They took prisoners. My sister was among them. Kira's voice remained steady, but her jaw tightened. According to Velnar law, prisoners taken in unauthorized territory become property. They can only be claimed back through formal challenge or trial by combat. Zalthera finished. Which requires standing equal to Velnar culture. The trial of blades grants such standing. Yes. The room erupted. Species councilors shouted protests in 17 languages simultaneously. The human ambassador, a portly man named Richardson, pushed forward, his face red. "Your Majesty, I must object." Miss Chin is a minor, she has no authority to make such requests, and Earth has not sanctioned Ambassador Richardson. Kira didn't raise her voice, but something in her tone made the man stop. "My parents signed the waiver 3 weeks ago. The documents are filed with the Galactic Council's Registry of Individual Petitions. I am here as a private citizen exercising my rights under Section 7 of the Treaty of Species Autonomy." Richardson's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. Zalthera accessed the registry through her neural implant. The documents were there. Legitimate. Properly filed. The parents had added a note: "Our daughter has trained for this her entire life. We pray she succeeds." "Trained?" Zalthera said aloud. "Explain." Kira reached into her jumpsuit pocket. Every guard in the room tensed. She moved slowly, deliberately, and withdrew a small data chip. "Permission to approach and present evidence?" Zalthera gestured consent. Kira walked forward, each step measured and precise. She placed the chip on the ceremonial platform at the throne's base, then retreated to her original position without turning her back on the Queen, proper protocol that most human diplomats failed to observe even after years of study. Zalthera inserted the chip into her throne's interface. Holographic images blossomed around them. A much younger Kira, perhaps 6 years old, standing in a training hall. 2 wooden practice swords in her small hands. An elderly Asian man demonstrating forms. 2 weapon techniques from Earth's ancient martial traditions. Nitin Ichiryu. Eskrima. Krav Maga. Historical European dual-wielding styles. The recordings jumped forward in time. Kira at 8, her movements faster, more fluid. At 10, sparring against multiple opponents. At 11, training with a Kreshtar exile who'd settled on Earth, one of only 3 members of that species living among humans. The final recording showed Kira blindfolded, fighting with 2 practice blades against holographic opponents. Her hands moved independently, each weapon defending and attacking with separate purpose. Her body flowed like water, each motion purposeful and economical. The hologram ended. Curiosity, Zalthera said. Why did you begin training? My father served in Earth's military. He told us stories about the galaxy, about species with abilities humans couldn't match. He said humans survive by being adaptable, by learning what others think is impossible. Kira's voice softened. He said if we ever wanted to stand equal in the galaxy, we need to master things the galaxy said we couldn't. Admirable philosophy. It will not save you. Maybe not. But I have to try. Zalthera studied the girl. 12 years old? A child by any species standard. But her eyes held something ancient, the desperate determination of someone with nothing left to lose except the person they loved. Commander Thex, Zalthera said. Prepare the arena. The guard commander's mandibles clicked in surprise. Your Majesty, she has met all legal requirements. She has demonstrated preliminary capability. She understands the consequences. Zalthera's voice dropped to a frequency only Thex could hear. And if we refuse, she will find another way. Better she dies here quickly than suffers attempting to challenge Velnar raiders directly. Thex inclined his head in acknowledgement. Zalthera addressed the chamber. The human Kirichin will face the trial of blades at dawn tomorrow. All protocols will be observed. All species representatives may witness. She focused on Kira again. You will be given tonight to prepare. Quarters will be provided. Do you accept these terms? I do. Then go. Rest. Pray to whatever gods your species honors. Zalthera's tones softened almost imperceptibly. And know that courage alone has never been enough. Kira bowed, a full formal bow, perfectly executed, and walked from the chamber. As the doors closed behind her, Ambassador Richardson approached the throne, his face pale. Your Majesty, she's going to die. Yes, Zalthera agreed. Can't you stop this? No. The Queen turned away, dismissing him. But alone in her private chambers later that night, she accessed the recording again. Watched the child move with 2 swords as if they were extensions of her body. Saw the impossible made possible through sheer human stubbornness. And for the first time in her long reign, Queen Zalthera wondered if the galaxy truly understood what humanity was capable of when they loved someone enough. Dawn broke over the arena like blood across metal. The structure had stood for millennia, its walls scarred by energy weapons, blade strikes, and the dying moments of countless warriors. Kira stood at the entrance, feeling the weight of history pressing down like gravity. Commander Thex waited inside, his 4 arms crossed in a position of formal greeting. Behind him, 2 pedestals held the trial blades, weapons forged from meteoric iron and inscribed with the names of every warrior who'd ever wielded them. You have 6 challenges, Thex explained, his translator rendering his clicking speech into flat English. Each tests a different aspect of dual-wielding mastery. Pass all 6, and you earn the right to be called Blade Bearer, an honor that grants you equal standing to challenge Velnar raiders for your sister's freedom. And if I fail? The trial doesn't permit failure. Only death or success. Kira approached the pedestals. The swords were beautiful, curved slightly, balanced perfectly, each weighing perhaps 3 pounds. Their grips were designed for Kreshtar hands, with 4-finger positions instead of human 5, but she trained with modified versions for years. She lifted both blades. They felt alive in her hands, humming with some quality she couldn't name. Around them, the arena's walls lit up with holographic displays. Thousands of aliens from dozens of species had gathered to watch the human girl's doomed attempt. First challenge, Thex announced. The dance of separation. Prove your hands can move with independent purpose. The arena floor transformed. Holographic targets materialized, 50 red spheres on her left, 50 blue on her right. They began moving in complex patterns, never crossing the center line that divided the space. You must destroy all targets within 3 minutes. Your left blade may only strike red. Your right blade may only strike blue. If you strike the wrong color with the wrong blade, or if any target escapes destruction, you fail. Understood. The timer began. Kira moved. Her left hand swept upward, the blade singing as it cut through red targets. Her right hand simultaneously struck low, destroying blue. Her body became a pivot point, her arms working in completely different rhythms. Red target approaching high left. Blue target approaching low right. Red mid-level. Blue high. 3 reds descending. 2 blues circling. Her mind split itself. She stopped thinking of left and right as directions and instead let each hand exist in its own separate reality. Her left eye tracked red. Her right eye tracked blue. Her brain processed both streams simultaneously, firing neural pathways that human evolution had never intended to develop. The crowd grew silent. 60 seconds. 40 targets remaining on each side. 90 seconds. 20 targets remaining. Her breathing stayed steady. Her father's voice echoed in memory. The body can do anything if the mind believes it's already done it. Visualize success, then simply execute. 150 seconds. 5 targets on each side. 170 seconds. 2 on each side. 179 seconds. 1 red sphere spinning erratically near the ceiling. 1 blue darting near the floor. Kira jumped, her left blade severing the red target at the apex of her leap. As she fell, she twisted, drove her right blade downward, and split the blue sphere a finger's width from the arena floor. She landed in silence. The targets vanished. The arena floor returned to normal. First challenge complete, Thex said. His voice carried something new, not quite respect, but acknowledgement of unexpected competence. Kira steadied her breathing. Her arms ached. The swords felt heavier now, as if they'd absorbed some of her effort. Second challenge, Thex continued. The mirror defense. Prove you can protect against synchronized assault while maintaining offensive capability. The arena walls opened. Combat drones emerged, sleek metallic constructs designed to simulate armed opponents. 20 of them, each carrying energy weapons calibrated to deliver painful but non-lethal shocks. They will attack in coordinated pairs. You must defend with one blade while attacking with the other, continuously alternating which hand performs which function. If you are struck 5 times, you fail. If you fail to destroy all drones within 5 minutes, you fail. The drones spread out, forming a circle around her. Begin. The first pair attacked from opposite sides. Kira blocked left with her left blade, struck right with her right blade. The drone exploded in sparks. The pattern reversed, she attacked left, defended right. Another drone fell. But the remaining drones learned. They began feinting, forcing her to commit her defensive blade, then attacking from the opposite side. She took her first shock on the left shoulder, pain like liquid fire racing down her arm. She adapted. Stopped waiting for attacks to fully develop. Started reading the drone's micro-movements, the fractional adjustments that preceded their strikes. Her blocks became preemptive. Her attacks became faster. 3 minutes in, 10 drones remained. She'd been shocked 3 times. The drones changed tactics again. They attacked in 3s and 4s, overwhelming her ability to block every strike. She took her 4th shock. One more hit, and she would fail. Kira stopped retreating. She charged forward, closing distance so rapidly the drone's targeting systems couldn't adjust. She attacked high with both blades simultaneously, destroying 2 drones, then immediately split her hands again, left blade deflecting an incoming shot, right blade piercing a drone's power core. 7 drones? She moved like water, flowing between them, her blades working in perfect counterpoint. Block. Strike. Strike. Block. Attack. Defend. Defend. Attack. The patterns existed in her muscle memory now, hardwired by 10,000 hours of practice. Her conscious mind could release control, let her body simply respond. 4 minutes 50 seconds. The last drone fell in pieces. Kira stood breathing hard, sweat dripping from her chin. 2 challenges down. 4 to go. The arena's lights dimmed. 3rd challenge, Thex announced. The blind cut. Prove you can fight without sight, relying on sound and instinct alone. Darkness descended. Absolute and complete. Kira couldn't see her own hands, let alone the sword she held. The arena now contains hostile entities. Thex's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. They make no sound when stationary. They move silently. You must find and destroy them using only the whisper of their movement through air. There are 30 entities. You have 10 minutes. If any entity touches you, you fail. Kira closed her eyes, meaningless in the darkness, but it helped her concentrate. She steadied her breathing, slowing her heartbeat, filtering out the sound of her own body. There. A faint displacement of air to her left. She struck, felt her blade connect with something solid. It shattered. Another disturbance. Right side high. She cut upward. Another entity destroyed. But they were learning. Moving more carefully. Approaching from multiple angles simultaneously. She shifted her stance, keeping her blades moving in slow patterns, creating currents in the air around her. When something interrupted those currents, she struck. Her world became sound. The whisper of movement. The hiss of something sliding across the arena floor. The barely perceptible rush of an entity dropping from above. She spun, both blades rising in crossing arcs. 2 entities destroyed simultaneously. Time lost meaning. She existed only in the eternal now, responding to threats before her conscious mind registered them. When the lights returned, she stood surrounded by the shattered remains of 30 entities. Her blades dripped with some phosphorescent fluid that glowed blue in the sudden brightness. 3rd challenge complete. Thex's voice carried genuine surprise now. Kira blinked, adjusting to the light. Her entire body trembled with exhaustion. 3 challenges down. 3 to go. But each challenge consumed more energy, required deeper concentration. She didn't know if she had enough left. 4th challenge, Thex said. The living blades. Prove you can adapt when your weapons rebel. Kira looked down at the swords in her hands. They'd begun to vibrate. The trial blades are semi-sentient, Thex explained. They contain the consciousness fragments of every warrior who's wielded them. Now they will test whether you are worthy of joining that legacy. They will fight against you. You must maintain control while using them to defeat incoming threats. The swords bucked in her grip like living creatures. Her left blade tried to twist from her hand. Her right blade pulled downward, attempting to cut her own leg. Holographic enemies appeared, ghostly warriors from species long extinct, each moving with the skill of legendary fighters. Kira tightened her grip. The swords resisted, but she trained with weights, with unbalanced weapons, with practiced blades designed to simulate resistance. She knew how to fight herself as much as external enemies. The first ghost warrior charged. Her left blade tried to parry when it should have struck. She forced it through the motion, overpowering its resistance. The ghost dissolved. Her right blade went limp, trying to make her drop it. She adjusted her grip, finding new purchase points, redistributing its weight across different fingers. Two ghost warriors attacked simultaneously. Both her blades tried to defend left, leaving her right side exposed. She wrestled them into position, barely blocking the strikes. The battle became a three-way war, Kira against the ghosts, Kira against her own weapons, and the weapons against the ghosts they were simultaneously trying to fight and sabotage. She fell into a meditative state her old Kreshtar teacher had taught her. You are the river. The blade is the current. The current resists, but the river shapes it, directs it, makes it part of something greater. She stopped fighting the blade's resistance and started incorporating it. When her left blade pulled away, she used that momentum to fuel a spinning strike. When her right blade tried to rise, she channeled that energy into an overhead cut. The sword's rebellion became part of her technique. The ghost warriors fell one by one. And gradually, incrementally, the sword's resistance lessened. They began cooperating, sensing her adaptation, recognizing her refusal to surrender. When the last ghost dissolved, both blades went still in her hands. Accepting. Almost content. Fourth challenge complete. Thex's voice held something approaching awe. Kira dropped to one knee, gasping. Every muscle screamed. Her hands were blistered from the sword's vibrations. Blood dripped from her palms where the grips had cut into her skin during the rebellion. But she was alive. And she was halfway through. You may rest, Thex said. The rules permit a brief recovery before. No. Kira forced herself to stand. Continue. If she stopped now, her body would realize how much it hurt. Better to keep moving, to stay in the flow state where pain became just another form of information. Thex studied her. Then, he nodded, a gesture he'd learned from observing humans. Fifth challenge, he announced. The infinite pattern. Prove your mind can sustain complex dual-wielding indefinitely. The arena transformed. Targets appeared, not holographic this time, but physical drones made of hardened alloy. They moved in intricate, interlocking patterns, each following precise mathematical rhythms. The pattern is eternal, Thex said. It has no beginning or end. You must find the rhythm and maintain it. If you miss a target, a new one spawns to replace it. If you strike the same target with both blades simultaneously, you fail. If your rhythm breaks, you fail. You must sustain the pattern for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Kira's arms already felt like they'd been filled with lead. The pattern began. Left blade, high right target. Right blade, low left target. Left blade, mid-level center. Right blade, diagonal rising. The patterns overlapped, creating a three-dimensional puzzle that moved through space. She fell into it. Found the rhythm like finding a heartbeat. Her body moved without conscious thought, her blades tracing paths through the air that felt inevitable, predetermined. 5 minutes passed. 10. 15. Her vision started to blur. Her breathing grew ragged. The blisters on her palms burst, making the grips slick with blood. But she held the rhythm. 20 minutes. 25. The crowd watching through holographic feeds grew silent. Even those who'd come to watch the human girl fail found themselves mesmerized by the impossible thing they were witnessing. 29 minutes. 30 seconds remaining. Kira's left arm faltered. She'd pushed it too hard during the third challenge. The tendons were strained past breaking. She felt them begin to tear. She didn't stop. 20 seconds. 15. Her right blade dropped half an inch below the optimal striking position. She compensated, drove it upward through sheer will. 10 seconds. 5. The pattern demanded one final sequence, a complex crossing motion that required perfect synchronization. She executed it. The timer stopped. The drones fell silent. Kira stood swaying, barely conscious, both arms hanging useless at her sides. Fifth challenge complete. Thex's voice was soft. No one has ever completed 5 challenges on their first attempt. You have exceeded all expectations. You may withdraw now with honor. Your sister's name will be recorded as one defended by a warrior who achieved the impossible. No. The word came out barely above a whisper, but it carried absolute finality. The sixth challenge is death, Dex said bluntly. It has killed 15 of the 17 warriors who reached it. I am legally required to offer you withdrawal. No. Vex looked at her for a long moment. Then he bowed, a full Kreshtar bow, all 4 arms extended. Then, proceed with honor, Blade Bearer. The title hit her like physical weight. He'd already granted it, acknowledging she'd achieved enough. But enough wouldn't save her sister. Sixth challenge, Vex announced. The Dance of Death. Prove you are worthy to join the legacy of warriors who wielded these blades. The arena went dark again. But this time, something emerged from the shadows, not a hologram, not a drone, but a figure in archaic armor. A Kreshtar warrior who'd completed the trial 200 years ago, preserved in stasis for this exact purpose. You will fight Commander Ralmoth, Vex said. He is augmented to perfect condition, enhanced to peak capability. He knows every technique, every strategy, every form of dual-blade combat developed over 10,000 years. He will not hold back. He will fight to kill. Ralmoth drew his swords, identical to the ones Kira carried. They hummed with barely contained violence. If you defeat him, you become Blade Bearer in truth. Your name joins his on these weapons. You earn the right to challenge Velnar raiders for any cause. Vex paused. If you fail, you die. I understand. Begin. Ralmoth moved like lightning. 4 arms meant he could attack and defend simultaneously on multiple vectors. His primary blades came in high, his secondary blades swept low. Kira barely blocked. The impact sent shockwaves through her damaged arms. Pain whited out her vision. She rolled away, created space. Ralmoth followed, relentless. She couldn't match his speed. Couldn't match his strength. Couldn't match his experience. But she'd spent 12 years training against opponents better than her. Faster than her. Stronger than her. Her father's voice echoed again. You win by being human. By doing what they don't expect. Ralmoth fought with perfect technique. Flawless form. Every movement optimal. Kira abandoned form. Abandoned technique. She fought dirty. She feinted left, then threw her right blade at Ralmoth's face, not to wound him, but to disrupt his perfect rhythm. He blocked instinctively, and in that fraction second of adjustment, she dove forward, reclaimed her blade, and struck at his knee joint. Her sword bit into armor but didn't penetrate. Ralmoth's counterattack nearly took her head off. She ducked, rolled, came up spinning. Both blades working in patterns no Kreshtar would use, asymmetric, unpredictable, leveraging her 2-armed limitation into unexpected angles of attack. Ralmoth adjusted. Learned. Adapted. The battle raged across the arena floor. Blade on blade, the sound like breaking stars. Kira took a cut across her ribs. Another on her thigh. Her blood painted the floor. But she wouldn't fall. She thought of her sister. Remembered her laugh. Remembered the last message she'd sent before the raiders took her. Tell Kira I know she'll do something crazy to come get me. Tell her I love her. Kira screamed, pure defiance against the universe, and attacked with everything left in her battered body. She stopped defending. Stopped caring about the cuts that opened across her skin. She focused only on offense, driving Ralmoth back through sheer reckless aggression. Her left blade caught his primary sword and locked it. Her right blade came around in an arc that violated every principle of proper technique, wild, desperate, and impossibly fast. It found the gap between Ralmoth's helmet and chest plate. The ancient warrior froze. His weapons fell from his hands. He reached up, touched the blade that had pierced his throat, and nodded slowly. Then, he dissolved. Not death, he'd never been truly alive. Just a construct, powered by ancient technology and preserved consciousness. But the acknowledgement was real. Kira collapsed. The swords fell from her nerveless hands and clattered to the arena floor. Silence. Then, the arena erupted. 47 species, thousands of individuals, all shouting in languages that ranged from subsonic rumbles to ultrasonic shrieks. The human had done the impossible. The child had survived the trial. Queen Zelthera descended from her observation platform, her massive form moving with surprising grace. She approached Kira, who was struggling to push herself upright. "Remain still," the Queen commanded. Medical drones swarmed around them, treating Kira's wounds, injecting healing compounds, stabilizing her damaged arms. "I completed the trial?" Kira's voice was hoarse. "Yes." Zelthera picked up the two blades, examining them. The weapons glowed with new light, acceptance of their newest bearer. "Your name will be inscribed on these weapons. You have earned the title Blade Bearer. You may issue challenge to the Velnar raiders who hold your sister. When? You require recovery time. The medical drones estimate 3 weeks before. When? Kira repeated, forcing herself to her feet despite the drone's protests. Zelthera studied the human girl, broken, bleeding, barely able to stand, but absolutely unbending. "The Velnar Raiders ship is currently in orbit," the Queen said slowly. "They came to witness your expected failure. They are bound by honor to accept your challenge immediately if you invoke your right as Blade Bearer." "Then I invoke it." "You can barely stand." "I don't need to stand. I need to fight." Zelthera's compound eyes reflected something complex: respect, concern, and a terrible certainty about what would happen next. But law was law. Custom was custom. Very well. The Queen turned to Commander Thex. "Prepare the challenge arena. Notify the Velnar that a blade bearer demands single combat for the release of prisoners." Within the hour, Kira stood in a smaller arena aboard the Velnar ship. Her wounds had been sealed, her arms injected with combat stimulants that would let her fight for approximately 30 minutes before her body collapsed completely. The Velnar champion was twice her size, covered in chitinous armor, holding swords that looked like they could split her in half. "Kira Chin, Blade Bearer," the challenge master announced. "You fight for the release of prisoner designation Alyssa Chin. Do you swear to abide by the outcome?" "I do." "Then begin." The Velnar champion charged. Kira didn't try to meet the charge. She slipped sideways, using her small size as advantage, her blades seeking gaps in armor. The fight was brutal. Vicious. The stimulants in her bloodstream kept her moving long past when her body should have shut down. She took hits that cracked ribs, that split skin, that should have ended the fight. But she remembered the arena. Remembered fighting the living blades. Remembered 30 minutes of infinite pattern. This was just one more challenge. Just one more impossible thing. The Velnar champion was skilled. But he never faced someone who fought like they had nothing to lose because they truly didn't care if they died, as long as they won first. Kira's blade found his throat. The champion fell. Silence. Then the Velnar captain approached, mandibles clicking in acknowledgement of defeat. "The prisoner will be released." They brought Alyssa out, thin, bruised, but alive. She saw Kira and her eyes went wide. "What did you?" Kira's legs gave out. She collapsed. The swords fell from her hands one final time. But Alyssa caught her before she hit the ground. "I've got you," her sister whispered. "I've got you." "I know," Kira breathed. "I always knew you'd be there to catch me." Then, consciousness left her, and the darkness was warm. She woke 3 days later in a medical bay aboard the Horizon's Promise. Her sister sat beside the bed, holding her hand. "The doctors say you'll recover fully," Alyssa said, her voice thick with emotion. "But they also say you're the stupidest person in the entire galaxy." "Probably. Why did you do it?" Kira looked at her sister, her only family since their parents had died in a transport accident 2 years ago. The only person in the universe she couldn't lose. "You'd have done the same for me." Alyssa couldn't argue with that. She squeezed Kira's hand. "Thank you." Outside the medical bay, Queen Zelthera stood with Commander Thex, reviewing the recordings of Kira's trial. "She fought like she was already dead," Thex observed. Like she'd accepted death and moved beyond it. Yes, Zalthera agreed. That is the human species. They face impossible odds not because they believe they'll succeed, but because they've decided the attempt is worth their life. They don't calculate survival probability. They calculate meaning. It makes them dangerous. It makes them magnificent. The Queen turned away from the recordings. Ensure the girl is granted full honors. Her name will be inscribed on the trial blades. And, Commander? Yes, Your Majesty? Double our efforts to establish alliance with humanity. Any species that can produce warriors like that child, warriors who wield impossible weapons through sheer determination, any such species will reshape the galaxy. Thex bowed his acknowledgement. And across the galaxy, the story spread. The human girl who grabbed 2 swords. Who mastered what no human should be able to master. Who fought 6 impossible challenges and won. Who proved that sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the universe is someone with nothing left to lose except the person they love. Humanity, the other species whispered, would bear watching. And humanity, bleeding but unbowed, continued forward into the stars. 2/2